Good morning. Today's important questions discussion is on Unit 3. In that we need to prepare 4 questions which are very important in this unit. First one is explain the features of India's foreign trade policy. So whenever you are taking a question, you have to define regarding that particular point or give meaning, a brief introduction about that. So here you are going to write about trade policy, means which manages the country's imports and exports. The country uses this as trade policy because it's an instrument to achieve the goals which is required to develop our economy. That means it's a set of instructions and guidelines for the Director General of Foreign Trade, which will be briefing about how the imports and exports has to be dealt. Based on this features are like it is based on import side and export side. Import side, what are the restrictions to be followed while dealing in imports, and what are the important points which has been taken into consideration in various 5-year plans till now. So importance in every 5-year plans regarding export and import, if you are putting, you will get good marks. Okay, this is regarding first question. Coming to second question, what is trade policy? Explain the objectives of trade policy. Again here, we have to write what is trade policy. Whenever this question comes, the most important part is giving briefing about that topic first. When you are writing this, later on you can add this main question of this, that is objectives. Objective of trade policy is what actually our country is thinking about is how to develop the home-based industries. Home-based industries to be renowned globally. That is the main objective, and it has been framed through trade policies and taken care by DGFT in the guidelines and instructions. Second point is ensure home industries to gain market share in the foreign market, because globally we need to get name and fame for our traditional conventional industries. For that reason, and later on after these 2 points, you can continue with the features what you have written it in the first question to make it a long question. Okay. Coming to third question, that is explain the importance and implementation of trade policy in India. So again we need to start with the same one, trade policy definition and meaning. Then coming to the important topic in this is importance of trade policy. Importance of trade policy here, why this trade policy is taken care to improve the standards when you are going to global markets with set of instructions and guidelines. So that is taken care in importance. So simplifying and streamlining procedures for imports and exports, which will be taken care by DGFT offices. Like what is the procedure to be followed when you are thinking about imports, when you are thinking about exports, applying for licenses, etc., and how it is made easier for the importer and exporter. In this point you have to take care. Second point is incentivizing service exports, because why any of the entrepreneurs will be interested for exports if he is getting some incentives. What are the schemes and incentives provided through the trade policies will be, you have to mention about that here. The third point, wide range of services. This is a scheme for exports, imports, and services what are provided by the DGFT, you have to mention here. Then fourth point, integrating with other major economic initiatives. What is the ultimate goal of trade policy? To improve our fame and name, focus in global markets, which is going to definitely take care of our economic development. That you have to provide in this point. Improving the domestic conditions, because we need to meet the competitive standards requiring for global markets. So that, because if you take care of that conditions, then we can match with the requirements of global market. This is regarding importance. When it comes to implementation, how implementation is done about trade policy is through DGFT office. So here you have to write about the functions of DGFT when you are thinking of implementation of trade policies, like what are the exempt policies, how the procedures made easy through DGFT office, what are the various schemes better to go through this question, very important one. And here, anyhow, your 2-3 marks, your this is allocated for briefing about introduction, meaning, definitions, and all. So, in highlight, take up highlight. This is always 2015-2020 trade policy has to be considered. In that, if you take 2015 to 2020 policy, there the government has been changed in our country. So, Prime Minister has declared various schemes because economic development requires employment generations, employment opportunities, how to eradicate poverty lines and all that has to be taken care. So, based on that, various schemes have been announced by the present government. That schemes are the important objectives in this trade policy. So, what is the intention aim of this is increase exports. It is always to be taken care whenever trade policies are coming. It has to improve from the previous one. So, whatever the data are there, the data has to be mentioned. If you know the data, then put it. Otherwise, increase exports. How it can be done, that has to be mentioned. Second point, increase share of India in world export. Definitely, we need to focus ourselves as a country to know to the entire world is required to increase our exports and reduce our imports. Then policy introduce new schemes, MEIS and SCIS. This is regarding services, regarding the goods what we are dealing in exports and imports. Then provide higher benefits. Definitely, if benefits are not there, who will do hard work here? So benefits, what are the benefits through this MEIS and SCIS is taken care through the trade policy. Then provide additional incentives specifically for this SEZs, schemes for economic zone. The entrepreneurs which are coming under that, the additional incentives, because we have very small marginal entrepreneurships in our country. So if they are included, there is a lot of contribution towards economic growth. So that is taken care of this trade policy, and various duty exemptions when you are dealing in exports. That one is very important point. Then introduction of Niryat Bandhu scheme. There are various schemes involved regarding the exports. And if you talk about this for employment purpose, there is something called Make in India concept has come into existence